Have you ever noticed that Hollywood has upgraded quite a few of your favourite Marvel heroes and villains from the original comics? I mean, yes, look, we've had to adapt to the times. Batman would not be as cool if he still danced and used shark repellent spray. And yes, I know he's not Marvel. This is a 6 Degrees Trope Deep Dive, where we look at 6 examples of your favourite tropes. In this MCU edition, we look at the Adaptational Badass trope, when a character from the comics is a lot weaker than their movie counterpart. Which, to make it clear, I do not mind. And look, I know that the comics can sometimes be wildly inconsistent with power sets, but shut up. Anyway, first in, at number 1, it's America's ass.
That is America's ass.
It's Captain America. So, I love Captain America. He's a great character in that he's just a bloody hero, as shown by when he jumps on this grenade when he's just a skinny little thing.
Get away! Get back!
And his power comes from the super soldier serum, which means that technically he's just a heightened human. He's running at the peak ability of a human, a bit more like he is in the first Avenger. And in the original run of comics, he pretty much stays like this. When he comes up against a big bad like Ultron, he gets whacked about like he's nothing. Thanos even kills him with a slap at one point. Bless you, Steve Rogers, giving that a red hot go. What made Cap such a good hero and leader of the Avengers was that he was a master tactician from all his time in the army. He had great leadership, courage, a mastery of martial arts and gymnastics. Marvel.com even states that he has to keep exercising to stay in shape. He does need to work on that stance though, mate. He's actually quite a lot like Batman, and they even faced off against each other in the Marvel vs DC crossover event in the 90s. Batman actually won though, thanks to some sewer water. However, in the movies, he's going toe to toe with Ultron for ages on that truck. Hawkeye even tells him he's no match.
I'm gonna try and keep him that way.
You're not a match for him, Cap.
Thanks, partner.
But gosh darn it if he doesn't get into a borderline wrestling match with an indestructible robot and takes a smack on the chops from him. And Infinity War, look, he looks great with his beard, should not have shaved it off. But he takes a punch right in the chops from Thanos. And yes, look, it knocks him out, but this is the dude that kicked the shit out of the Hulk before he's even got the Infinity Stones, just as a workout. Side note, Infinity War made a whole lot out of that
Get this man a shield.
bit, but he does literally nothing interesting with them. And that hair is just not practical. Anyway, so Endgame has him beating the shit out of Thanos with Mjolnir, which to be honest, I will forgive. He's worthy now and he's a tactician, so fair enough. In the comics, he did actually grab Mjolnir once to smash an evil version of himself. And the classic scene showing just how much stronger they've made him. The man is holding a helicopter down with one arm. That is isolating one muscle to hold that helicopter down. And that's not a piddly little helicopter, it's a big one. And the alarms are going off, it cannot get away. And yes, look, he did a version of this in the comics, but look, it was a very different kind of helicopter. He was using his core, and a lot of other reasons that actually there's a helpful Reddit user has pointed out, but I couldn't find it before making this video. To be honest though, I'm not mad. I fucking love when he flips his arm over so we can see that bicep bulge, yes! So Cap is one of the proper goodies, and a baddie that the MCU has made overpowered that also features in the Infinity Saga. It's number 2, Ebony Maw, aka Squidward. Ebony Maw is great. That slimy voice and the way he fawns over Thanos.
The privilege of being saved by the great Titan.
He's such a little weasel. In the comics though, he's really more of a master manipulator. He's got loads of ambition and some weird telepathy thing that can influence people, which is what he does to Doctor Strange, getting very intimate, as opposed to just sticking needles in him. He's in the Black Order, Thanos' gang in the comics, to start with, but when he discovers that Thanos has a son, he quickly flips to being his hype man, and to be honest, he seems to always be flipping around. However, in the movies, the dude is so fucking powerful. He's got these super effective telekinesis powers that can move anything and make himself fly, which is all he needs to take care of Thor, Spider-Man, Iron Man, and literally capture Doctor Strange, and then as mentioned, stick needles in him. Unfortunately, his telekinesis can't stop him getting sucked out of a spaceship. And it definitely can't stop him getting dusted. Next up, we are straddling hero and villain territory with number 3, the Red Guardian. So Alexei Shostakov in both the comic and in the Black Widow movie is Soviet Russia's response to Captain America. In the comics, Alexei is just basically a really good fighter pilot. Well, he's one of the best, I guess, and as a result, he gets chosen for the super secret program to turn him into the Red Guardian, beating Yuri Gagarin to it. It's okay, he went on to be the first man in space. But the Soviet super soldier program for the Red Guardian doesn't actually involve any super soldier serum. Apparently it's just really hard training, just learning how to fight and become a really strong athlete. Again, a classic Batman situation, except the Red Guardian throws his belt buckle instead of a batarang. However, The excellent David Harbour plays the Red Guardian in Black Widow, and while the film starts by lulling us into thinking he's just a standard old fat dude who lies about how hard he was, we all know those people, in the MCU he actually does get a dose of that lovely serum. And as a result, he can flip heavy machinery, run faster than a plane, pull people through windows one-handed, kick massive heavy doors off. He's super agile. It takes a load of tranquilizer darts to take him down. And he's really good at arm wrestling. He does still struggle against Taskmaster though, and it's really not clear what her power set is in the movies. All in all, he's had an even bigger adaptation than old Cap himself. Except he's just not as good as staying healthy. Told you got to exercise if you have the super soldier serum. Alright, it's time for number 4, a classic Spidey villain. It's the Green Goblin. So Norman Osborn in the comics, if we go way back, had no powers. He was literally just particularly nimble and athletic and had a load of gadgets. A rubbish Batman, if you will. Then he starts making the Goblin formula. It's always a bloody formula or serum of these guys. First it explodes in his face and he gets a little bit stronger and faster over time. And then he gets stronger and stronger as he takes the formula properly. So yes, he ends up being pretty fast and strong and smart. It makes him smarter. But in the comics, and to its credit also in the first Raimi film, once Peter gets all totes and mosh, he beats the snot out of him. However, given that Spider-Man in the Infinity Saga was staggering Thanos, he even took hits from the Titan, and in No Way Home he's withstanding Doctor Strange's magic and outsmarting him.
How are you doing that?
I have no idea.
You should not be able to do that.
This feels amazing.
The fact that Norman Osborn can so comprehensively kick the crap out of him to then kill bloody Aunt May, spoiler, is a little bit too much for me. But look, I get it. They need a reason for Peter to get sad, steal himself, and then save the day. It's such a good film regardless. Side note on Spider-Man villains, Otto Octavius. He has the 4 extra arms, yep, convenient considering his name. And look, I get he's a genius and the aforementioned arms make him a formidable opponent, but he's still just a man. If Spider-Man punches him in the face, that would shatter his bones. It would make for a quick movie, I guess. The comics kind of addressed this and he started wearing a full suit to protect himself, but the movies never really bother. Alrighty, number 5 is back in hero territory with one of the best examples of adaptational badassery with the MCU's actual Sorcerer Supreme, Wong. So in the comics, Wong is the sidekick and valet to Doctor Strange. He grew up in camouflage and as a result he knows some martial arts and a little bit of magic, but his primary role seems to have been getting abducted or kidnapped and generally giving Doctor Strange someone to rescue. Hardly badass. However, Benedict Wong's Wong in the MCU is so much better. On the magic front, they've basically said he's better than Doctor Strange, and as a result, is the actual Sorcerer Supreme. And he even acts like kind of a mentor to him sometimes.
You might have a gift for the mystic arts, but you still have much to learn.
Wong in the movies bloody loves a portal. He gets to be pretty badass in Infinity War when he uses one to cut off Cull Obsidian's arm. And he obviously channels God knows how many portals in the biggest superhero brawl ever to be put on screen. And he uses his portal skills to take on the Abomination in a cage match. That thing went toe to toe with the Hulk. Then we've got him taking down this alien thing easily. He's the only person aside from Doctor Strange who can do the mind walking thing with Wanda, as well as surviving being chucked off a cliff. The man's had a major upgrade and I love it. Alright, we're in the home stretch now. Our final badass adaptation is in at number 6. It is Vision. So Vision in the comics, he was basically just a synthetic human made by Ultron with the mind of Simon Williams, aka Wonder Man, who hasn't actually featured in the MCU yet. He's got above average durability, strength, etc. He's got a laser beam thing from a solar gem in his head, and he can fly and change his density, so he can float through walls and he can cry. He was a pretty useful member, but because he was this synthezoid, he could easily be destroyed and reassembled without it being too ridiculous. And we know how ridiculous the comics can be about bringing people back from the dead. Weirdly though, he would still go toe to toe with the Silver Surfer until his surfboard saves him. What a ridiculous character. To be fair as well, he got a bit more powerful as the comics went on, but you see that as a bit of a trend as they do need to keep coming up with ways to make the characters interesting after 60 odd years. However, in the movies, he's immediately a lot more powerful. He's got vibranium, the ridiculous made up metal that Cap's shield is made of. He's got it infused into his cells, making him pretty much bloody indestructible. And he's powered by an Infinity Stone, which is absolutely lethal as well as being a proper cosmic level superpower. It sums up how powerful he is immediately when he's introduced and he just picks up Mjolnir and gives it to Thor. That is a big deal.
Right. Well done.
Basically, you can only take Vision down in the movies if you're a cosmic level bad guy or you've got a special glaive that can hurt him. No explanation required. So that's our 6 degrees done, and look, a special shout out to Iron Man's first suits in the film. Infinitely better than the weird spandex looking suits from the comics. That is an adaptational upgrade that I am very happy with. And there you have it, 6 degrees of the MCU's making heroes and villains a load more badass than the comics they've adapted them from. In general, it just makes better movie making to have your tentpole hero actually fight the bad guy rather than just getting killed with a slap. So let me know if you disagree, come at me people, or which ones I've missed. And if you 100% agree with everything I've said, then you owe me a like and a subscribe, don't you? Alright, until next time, I'm Danny Baker, this is 6 degrees, and I'll see you later.